Welcome back, guys. Automotive Inc. here. So we're going to do a little update. A lot of people have been asking me a lot of really great questions. A lot of good conversations been going on ever since I posted the last video about how everything shook down with the General, or the 7.3 Godzilla in the F-250. Now, as you guys can probably see in the background, we got Kong over there. So I decided to change the name to Kong from Big Red, because Godzilla versus King Kong. So just kind of a funny thing. But to be honest with you, I did catch a lot of flack in regards to my last video. A lot of people were actually saying, well, maybe, try a different dealer. Okay, so I did try 2 other dealers. So one dealer, actually, when I contacted them and tried to get an appointment, they asked what was going on, and I was just straightforward with them. So I went to another dealer. This is what was going on. They weren't interested in seeing me. They said, well, we're not going to be able to do anything differently. The next dealer, I didn't tell them about the other dealer. I got an appointment, took it in. They said the exact same thing. We're not going to see anything. We're not interested in doing an oil analysis. And both of these dealers, well, even the one that I didn't even get the appointment at, all 3 were dealers that I find reputable in sales. But again, here's the thing, guys. One guy says I'm a Chevy 11 Ford hater. Well, if you're part of my channel, then you would know the history. If you don't, hit the button down there in the corner so you can enjoy more of my content. But at the end of the day, I bought the Godzilla way before I bought the Chevy. I've been buying Fords for several years. I haven't had a new Chevy, since my 21 Custom, and I'll admit that one to me was not as good as the red one, even though that 21 was a diesel. So I'm not necessarily even brand loyal. I just like vehicles, but I did buy the Godzilla first, even against everybody hating on me for doing so because of the potential failures. Now, I've had a lot of people say, well, you hyped up that engine to begin with, and now what? Well, so I'm not saying the Godzilla is a bad engine, okay, guys, at all. I'm not saying Fords are crap, okay, and that might hurt some of my Chevy fans, but hear me out on this, okay? I still think that this platform is a really great truck, and I think it's this engine issue is going to peter out. At some issue, meaning that the 7.3 is going to work its kinks out. Not that the motors are going to blow up, but there's a very small percentage, about 2% of the engines produced had this issue. If I got one, I got one. Okay, but at the end of the day, I bought this truck with knowing that it was possible. Okay, that's one side of it. If you have an issue and the dealers correct it or investigate it and give me some peace of mind, I don't have any problem keeping this truck around and keep it rolling against the Chevy. Why? Because I think the Godzilla is a good motor or engine, and I think I do love a lot of the aspects of the Ford. Obviously, I bought the thing. These aren't leased. These aren't loaned to me like the Da-I.K.E guys or everybody else that just goes out and does drive around demo videos. I own both of these trucks. So when people say, well, you're just a Ford hater or a Chevy hater, absolutely, that's the opposite. I love both, and I think that you should be able to do that. I mean, at the end of the day, this was really about buying 2 new world gassers and putting them against the Teslas. Can they handle the rigorous, everything, towing, whatnot? Well, I think every vehicle, if you're not towing with it, you take that extra abuse out, the truck's going to last substantially longer. But I don't think anybody buys a pickup. Well, some people do, but I think most people are buying pickups to use to work. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't say that this is a bad truck. However, if the dealership's response to the issue is, well, good luck, we're not really worried about it, then what the hell am I supposed to do with the truck? I'm supposed to tow with it and then have it blow up while I'm towing, stranding me and my family, put me in a very bad situation that would be unsafe for me and other drivers? I don't think so. But I had the dealership came back and said, okay, we need to investigate it. We've taken it all apart. We don't see any issues. Give me some peace of mind. Because here's what I've experienced over the last few weeks, guys. My fuel economy has went down. My fuel average in town used to be about 14.5. It is down now to about 11. The Chevy, however, is up now to about 15 in town, which is, I can't even fathom why. Engine power is down in every mode except for sport. In sport, it feels almost like it did normally in eco, so that's down. Oil pressure is up, meaning I think there's an issue. Now, if you guys watched the last video about the failures, I showed you that I had metal shavings in the engine oil. So there is an issue. There is some weird yellow tinging coming out of the exhaust pipe. Let's just go take a look at that real quick. All right, so a lot of people are going to say this is normal, but until I had that issue, I've never had any brown or black carbon here. I've never had this yellowing. And so whether it's excess heat or there's something awry in the engine, which I obviously know that there is, but it's just one of those things where, you know, that's a tell sign that something's going on. So with power being down, metal shavings in the engine oil, the exhaust pipe, just kind of like I said, just kind of like a visual uh-oh thing. You know, there's obviously something going on here, guys. And a lot of guys banged on me saying, well, you know, if you got the diesel, you wouldn't have these issues. Nah, I don't buy that. All these trucks can have issues. It's all about how the truck does, and if it fails, how the dealerships handle that situation, or the manufacturers, because whether or not the dealers are all obviously separate from Ford themselves, they are representatives of Ford, and if they're not interested in digging deeper, then you have to make a corporate decision as to what you're going to do. Now, I took this into the dealer. I'm thinking about maybe trading it or potentially selling it outright to them. And I'm not really taking that big of a hit on it. I mean, in comparison to this market based here in Colorado. So no, I'm not overly worried about that. But no, there's no bias here. Everybody said, well, I guess the Chevy wins by default. No, I've already showed in my other two videos that the Chevy all around, if you're looking for a better priced vehicle, a vehicle that has better handling, better brakes, better engine braking, and transmission, the Chevy should be on your top of your list to check out. Because this engine has an issue. Is it crap? No, because there's thousands of watchers of mine and other channels where the Godzilla has performed extremely well for people, and it's really, really good. But in those towing videos, I did mark and outline several areas where the Chevy did excel. So again, if you're just brand loyal, then I say go out and get your Ford if you're a Ford guy. There's no reason for you to transition to a Chevy unless you're interested in trying something new. And in those things that I talked about in both videos, like, oh, I noticed that in my Ford and I don't like that, or I'd rather have that in the Chevy, then go give it a shot. And if you're not brand loyal, then why wouldn't you take it as just more information? Didn't G.I. Joe say that knowing's half the battle? Take the information, put it in your thing, and use it as ammunition to find the next best thing. One guy said, well, you can't just take one guy's word for it. No, again, if you're going out and watching a 5-minute video of somebody test driving a video and making a decision in your car, then I don't know if you've done due diligence to do that. But if you're happy, then that's all the information you need. So somebody says, there are really no long-term tests. Both of these trucks and these engines haven't been out all that long, so I mean it's going to be hard. But that's why I bought the two trucks for the channel, was to bring you guys something different than any other channel's doing. Everybody's doing diesel. Everybody's just leasing or borrowing these for a day and whatnot. I'm actually putting all this together for you so you guys can see it, and I would hope the truck engine wouldn't have issues at 6,000 or even 60,000 miles. Maybe at 100 you have to do a few things, because I've heard lots of people that have great experiences on gas engines, whatnot, way into the 150,000 miles. So of course I wouldn't want to have an issue at 6,000. It is a little bit troublesome, but again, had Ford handled that better or gave me some peace of mind, say we checked it all out, it's good to go, you can tow with it, we don't think it's going to explode, that's good. But if not, then there is some I'm losing my plausible deniability here when somebody says, well, did you know you had an issue? And I'm trucking down the road saying, yeah, I did. The dealer didn't want to do anything, but then that was my stupidity to take it out and put your family at risk. But, hey, all in the matter of telling. But I won't do that. I mean, that's a silly decision. And that's something that if that happened with either vehicle or any vehicle that you bought, you would have to deal with it. Okay, weigh the pros and the cons of continuing to run that vehicle. Now, I have been driving this. I've drove it about 250 miles after I did the oil change. And again, power's down, fuel economy's down. It does seem to have like a stumble in itself. Now, I do have a scope coming. I ordered a scope. I'm going to see if I can get into the valve cover without taking it off. and see what's going on. And then but I haven't put it under a load or anything like that. I'm just driving around town because obviously if it died in town, it's going to come to rest. I'm not even on the highway, so it's not going to impose on anybody. I drive it literally to and from the gym, maybe over to get the groceries, to work and back, all slow speed stuff. So it's really not going to, have an issue if that was to do that. But do I feel comfortable hopping on the highway and traveling anywhere important where I need to be for a couple hundred miles? Not really. So hopefully this clarifies some stuff. Again, once I get my scope in, we will make a video on what we find in that. But hopefully that clarifies what some of the guys have been hitting me really hard on about being. I think I've been very unbiased in what I've done, especially because I haven't had a new Chevy. And other than that custom, I haven't had a new Chevy since 2002 when I had a Chevy Avalanche, and it was a great truck, and that was a new one, a new Chevy. But I've had several used Chevys in between there, and then I had an 03 new GMC Sierra, which is close enough, and then I had an 11 Sierra. But I mean, really, I've been buying Fords for several years. That's why I drive at work. So when somebody comes at me saying, well, you just love Fords over Chevy, come on, man. Not at all. But I do want to be 100% open and honest with y'all and give you guys the best information I can. And by blowing smoke up your bottom here, it doesn't help you, doesn't help me, doesn't help the credibility of my channel. But at the end of the day, if you're still in the market for a Godzilla, I think you're in a good position to buy that truck and feel confident in it. I don't think it's anything like that because, again, I think by 23, 24 and a half, they'll be done with all the engines they made back then. So thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you on the next one.